So let's stand up, draw back, zero in for 40. Hello everyone, my name is TheHunter, and today I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about the hunter called the Wild. So the first thing you want to do is decide whether or not you want to use yardage or meters. And to do this, you hit F3 on your keyboard, and this screen will pop up. You go into System, and then you go into Game, and from here you go into Unit System, and you scroll. I believe it's going to start off at metric, so this is going to be meters. If you want to do yards, you scroll over to Imperial, and once it says Imperial, you should be all set. Alright, so now that we have that set up, next we're going to set up our tracking. Now, our inactive tracks, I usually keep them on white, that way they're all kind of the same, until we find one that we want to track, and that's going to be the active track. I keep mine on blue or turquoise. Collectible doesn't really matter that much. And the spotting outline color, you're going to want to keep that the same color as your active track. That way you'll know. Well, I don't even know if you can actually change this or not. Oh, apparently you can. But actually you want to keep these the same. That way you know when you spot a big animal that you're tracking the same animal that you actually spotted. So you'll know 100% that you got the right one. Now the downed animal highlight, you want to keep that on. Spotting outline on. Basically this is what you want to do. Tutorials and hints, I usually keep mine off. Mission system, I have mine on off. You can turn it on if you want, but field of view, I have mine set at 60. Compass, I have it at free. Hide hunting HUD, I have mine off. That just kind of gives you different hints as well. Multiplayer, that's something different with multiplayer. Let's go audio clue. You want to keep that on. Spectacle tracking cone, you want that on. POI icons, you probably want this off because eventually your whole screen is going to be full of all these icons and you don't really want to see them unless you go to your map, which I think that's a pretty good clue in order to find out where you want to go. But yeah, you don't want to have that up for the most part. Here we have our track effects. Now this is a very important thing here. The need zone icons, you want to keep this off too as well. That's kind of the same thing as far as this POI icons. Especially when you're duck hunting or goose hunting, you definitely want to have this off. But for need zones, I mean, when you start, you might want to keep this on just to get the hang of it. But after a while, your whole screen's going to get full of these little icons. So our track effects, this is a very important thing. I don't know if it actually starts out in this or not, but I'll show you there's a few different variations of tracks. So first we have glow, then you can turn it off, and then you have particle and glow. Now, for a while, I always had mine on glow, and this is kind of difficult to find the track because if you're run tracking an animal, and if it's just a solid glow, you could run right past it, and you won't see it. So I always keep mine on particle and glow. That helps pretty good. Aim toggle, keep that on. Manual reload, I have mine off. Manual chambering off. Alright, so that's pretty much all set up for all the main indications there. Next, for display, I have mine set for the screen. It should be set for your screen resolution, 1920 by 1080, because that's the same size screen that I have. And I play in window mode. Vertical sync is off. What else do we have? Oh, graphics. So we'll go to graphics. This is a pretty important thing too. I have mine set on custom. Everything is set on high, but I do have my texture resolution on ultra. And my anisotropic, let's try that one more time. Anisotropic filtering is on 16. SSAO is on. The only thing I have off is the motion blur. You want to have this off because it will give you a lot smoother effects. Alright, so everything else is on. Analyzing is FX A plus TAA. I don't really know if I mess with this, so don't mess with anything. Just keep it pretty much the same. Key bindings, I have mine just standard WSAD, left shift run, caps lock is run toggle, auto walk is Q, jump is G, crouch is C, and prone is Z, fire is the click button. Everything else is pretty much standard. Oh, and make sure you know this one. Hold breath would be space, and these two are actually important too. Use skill will be T, and what is the other one we need? Oh, right here. Interact. This is very important too. F. I have mine set on F. So for your use skill, you're going to use this a lot. That's on T. That's going to be like when you're zeroing your weapons or when you want to use a different skill. And for interact, that's going to be when you pick up a track or when you claim your animal. So you want to have this set. You don't want to have it set to too close to your walking or running buttons, because if you accidentally click it when you're too close to a diamond potential animal, you could lose out on your consecutive harvest and lose a diamond. Alright, so that's pretty good for that category. Now, the next important thing is going to be skills. Your skills are very important, especially a particular tracking skill known by the term of Zag Tactics. That's going to help you track pretty much the exact weight of whatever animal you're tracking, so you'll know if it's going to be a really big one or if it's going to be just a small or a medium one. And for this, you want to be an ambusher, and you want to go to tier 1, and you want to make sure you have only 1 of 3 in this tier 1 right here. You can see we have 0 skill points available right now, but first you need to get at least 3 of 4 here in tier 0 until you move on to tier 1. And the way that you actually get skill points is by, well, you just keep playing and start hunting, and eventually you'll start getting skill points with using different weapons and getting certain amounts of money, and then eventually you'll get some skill points, which you can then use to get some of these skills unlocked. Once you get those unlocked, then you'll go over to sight spotting. This is a very important skill too. You'll want to be able to use this. This will actually give you the ability to spot animals while in aim mode with all weapons. So that's pretty awesome. You can either spot them with the binoculars or with whatever weapon you have on you. And that's pretty much it for that. Let's check out the stalker. Locate tracks, you want to have 3 of 3 on that. Track knowledge, definitely want to have this pretty good. I have a 3. Hardened, 1 of 3. Actually, hardened is 1 of 1. This will make you have more stamina if you do fall or get hurt or get attacked by a buffalo even. That will help you last a little bit longer. Connect the dots. This is really important. Once you're tracking an animal, it will help you track the animal so you know the exact direction it went, not just a rough estimate. You'll know exactly which way he was heading. And here's important too. This one actually helps decrease the size of the animal vocalization in the world, making it easier to pinpoint exactly where the animal that produced that call is. Alright, so next we have the perks. Now, I really haven't used too many of the handgun or shotgun. The only perks I really use are rifle and archery. So we'll start with rifle. Now, rifle, you're going to start off here. This is muscle memory. It will help you. It unlocks the ability to ready your next shot without leaving aim mode for rifles, shotguns, and handguns. And it increases your ready speed after firing all weapons. So basically, it just increases your instinct of being ready as fast as possible for your next shot. Next, this one's really important, breath control. And for level 1, it decreases your heart rate penalty from exhaling, which reduces a cooldown until your breath can be held again. That means if you're breathing really hard, it won't let you take a shot really quick. You have to wait twice as long in order to hold your breath to take a shot. A smooth, long distance shot is very crucial to have this. A level 2, increased duration before you need to exhale when holding your breath, so you can just pull up really quick, aim and shoot, and you hold really steady. Level 3, decreased wobble aim when holding your breath. That means you don't shake as much while you're holding your breath and for a longer period of time. So those are really important. And steady hands decreases wobble when in aim mode for any weapon. This will help out quite a bit as well. This is my favorite by far perk, I would say, and this is the zeroing perk. It unlocks the ability to switch between different zeroing distances in addition to the default medium range zero on any weapon that supports it. So the bow, the shotgun, the rifle, and the handgun, everything that has any kind of distance to it, basically all weapons you can zero. Level 1 unlocks the short range zeroing, so that's going to do probably out to 100 meters or 100 yards, maybe 150 yards. So if you're going to want to take long distance shots, eventually you're going to want to unlock level 2, which will help you get all the way out to 300 meters or 320 yards. And if you're using yards, the zeroing will be, I believe, 80, 150, and 320 yards. And for meters, it's similar. It's like 50, 150, and 300 meters. Something close to that. And next we have windage, which is the ability to gauge lateral wind direction and speed when in any mode with any weapon. This isn't that important. I used to use it at first, but I don't use it anymore, so I wouldn't recommend using it. If you click the mouse button, left click on the mouse button, you'll see you can activate it, but we don't want to activate it. because currently we have zeroing activated. So in order to activate zeroing, you need to left click it on the mouse button and select activate, and then that will pop up. As you can see, it's not activated here because we already have zeroing activated. So that's pretty much it for all of the standard settings, I guess. Well then, I guess the next thing you'd probably want to know is where you can get your weapons and your ammo, and maybe even change the time of the day. That means you need to find a lodge. At first, when Call of the Wild first came out, there was these things called, well, I guess I would call it a bunker or storage crate unit thing. And these things actually had the weapons and equipment in them, but right now they don't have them anymore. So now we actually are starting to get these lodges. So I believe on all the maps there's like a little lodge where you can go inside of them. And here is gonna be where you change the time. This is the bed. All you have to do is go over here and press your well, it's F for me, but I guess it's the active button. Whatever you're gonna pick up your tracks with or pick up your animals with, that's the button you want to press, and you can change whatever time of the day you want. But that's not important right now. What's important is going over here and getting what weapons we want. So we can go over here, and here's the store. As you can see on the left side here, these are all of our categories we can buy. First, we have weapons, ammo, sights, lures, equipment, binoculars, portable structures, etc. So if we want to buy something, say we want to buy a rifle, we go to the rifle, we click on whatever we want to buy. Say we want to buy a 270 Stradivarius, and we go down here and click on buy. For $12,000, we could buy it. Why not? Let's buy it. I don't care. So we bought it. There you go. And from here, we don't have it equipped already. So the next thing we need to do, obviously, it's a 270, so we need to get some ammunition for the 270. So we'll go into rifle, and we will find some 270. And this is the next thing I want to talk about. Whether you want to get the soft points or the polymer tip bullets. Now, the soft points don't have as much penetration, and the polymer tips have more penetration. So let's just say you took a broadside shot at a whitetail buck at 100 yards away, and you hit him right in the shoulder blade. Well, with the polymer tips, there's a good chance you're going to get penetration and get a single lung, or possibly even a double lung. With the soft points, not so much. You're probably going to get a flesh hit. So if you look here, you can see the penetration is 17, which is pretty low, maybe like a quarter of it. And if you go to polymer tips, we're at 35, so that's pretty much double, which is pretty good, and that is what you want to do. Alright, so now that we have that out of the way, we're going to need to get a scope for this thing. We go into rifle sights. Now, the number one that I would recommend when you first start off to try and get is this one. The Hyperion 4x8x42. You're not going to get it at first. At first, I think what comes stock with your scope would be... Do I even have it? Yes, this one. This is the Ascent 1x4x24 rifle scope. This will come stock on your 243 when you first get Call of the Wild. But eventually, try and get this Hyperion 4x8x42 rifle scope, and you won't regret it. So we already own it, but if we didn't own it, we would click here, we would click buy, accept. Then we would have the 270, we would have the 270 polymer tip bullets, and we would have the Hyperion 4x8x42 rifle scope. So from that point, we want to go into storage, and let's actually clear some of these out so I can show you. Alright, so once we're in storage, you will see all of our weapons here that we purchased. So you click on the 270 Stradivarius, and next we need to find our ammunition and our scope, whichever one comes first. Alright, this will work. Our 270 polymer tips are here, and we'll scroll down and find our scope, which will be here, our 4x8x42 rifle scope. We'll add that in, and we're all set. Sort of, but not really. So next, we want to hit M, which is the map. Well, it doesn't really pull up the map at first. It kind of clears out the screen. And then what you want to do is hit F3. Okay, so from F3, you can go into inventory. And from inventory, you want to equip all of your, your weapon with your scope and your ammunition. So from inventory, it will go to weapons. You click on weapons. So we'll click on our 270 Stradivarius and equip that. Probably in slot 1. Yeah, let's just do that. Then we'll go into ammunition and find our 270 bullets. Put them there, and we'll go into sights and find our scope, which is the 4x8x42 rifle Hyperion scope. And now we have a rifle, we have bullets, and we have a scope. So there we have it. Now we can go hunting. Alright, now the first way that you can hunt is basically the way that I've hunted for about a year now, and that is basically freestyle hunt. So you just go around and look in certain spots where you think that there could be an animal, start calling in that area, look around for different things moving around, watch for tracks, listen for animals running around, and don't really pay attention to the map too much at all. Now the thing is, when you do this and say you kick up an animal, you don't really know what it is, so you can spot it to see obviously if it's a male and what level it is. When you do this, it will tell you, well, there's a good chance it's going to give you a need zone. First off, if you kick up something, oh, here we go, alright, so this buck is spooked. We do have a bad wind, so we're going to put some cover spray on. That's not cover spray. This buck is spooked. Now, the only way we'll actually get a need zone location is by spotting him if he's not spooked and if he's in a need zone area. So just because he's spooked and we spot him doesn't mean it's going to really do anything for our map. But that's the whole point of freestyle. You don't know what's going to happen. He isn't just going to be sitting there like a bait pile and you get a perfect shot. Alright, so we just got eyes on a buck right here. I couldn't quite tell how big it is, but he's in the stick brush here. I'm hoping we can see him here soon. We have a really bad wind though, so he might spook. And I'm definitely not hoping that happens. What is this? Oh, that's a different buck. It's a decent buck. But now we did spot him. It's not going to give us a need zone. It is, however, going to tell us how big he is. He is a level 3, not a bad sized buck. He's about 180 out there. Oh, I was about to take a shot. I wouldn't recommend taking trotting shots, especially through the brush like this. So try and calm down. Get him to come out in the open. Once he's in the open, you can sort of take a trotting shot if you want, but just trotting shots in general are not the greatest idea. I'm pretty comfortable taking them at this point, but there he is. That is definitely not him. That is a different buck. That should have been a heart shot, but it wasn't. Alright, so there's a good chance we only got a single lung on that. Or did we get a double lung? If we got a double lung, then there's a good chance we could still get a gold out of this. And since, if we look at the map right now and you can see it is purple, there's a good chance that this buck went down. If we wanted to find a need zone, we would click on this here, because this is probably where one of the deer would be at, even though we already have this need zone discovered. Let's go over here and see if we did get this big buck and how we actually did. The shot looked really good, but it obviously wasn't perfect, because if we went for a heart shot and he didn't drop, that means we didn't get the heart. What it does mean is that should definitely be like 85% or something like that on the quick kill, maybe 90%, which if it is a 90%, it should be a gold. It is a gold, 99%, and that in fact was a very beautiful shot. Double lung shot at 127 yards out. A big blonde. He scored 373, total score of 837 on him. You can see he was trotting, and we didn't quite lead him enough. We snuck it right behind the heart, but still, I mean, that is a perfect shot on a big old mule deer. Alright, so this was a 4 easy, and how the scores work is, well, for mule deer, it goes, okay, for mule deer, the biggest one is a 4 easy, and then a 5 medium is a dime potential. For whitetail, it goes 2 minor, and then 3 easy is dime potential. And for moose, it goes same thing, 4 easy and 5 medium is dime potential. And let's see, for duck, kind of the same thing as the whitetail. 2 minor is a gold, and then 3 easy is dime potential. Or you could go around the map and look for certain areas where you find animals, and once you find them there and you spot them, if you notice in the top right corner it says drinking by this black buck, that means we got a drinking need zone for the black buck in this exact location. So if we come back next time, there's a good chance at whatever time, well, let's just check the map. we'll check the map right now, and it will show right here 9 o'clock until 12:30. Anytime we come back during these hours, there's a good chance there's going to be some other black buck here. Not always going to be the same one, but there's a good chance there's going to be some black buck here around 9 or 12:30 in the morning. Alright, so here's what happens as soon as you spot an animal before you take the shot. It will pop up as a need zone. As you can see on my map here, all these little icons are all need zones. So we'll kind of go over it briefly and check it out. Mule deer, 12 until 1700. So that means if we go here around that time, there's a good chance we'll see a mule deer. Here is another mule deer, 4:30 till 9:30. Mule deer, 4 o'clock. Okay, this is actually a mule deer spot. Let's go somewhere where there's not mule deer. Here is a puma, 13 till 17. Here is some black buck, 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. Here is some axis deer, 8:30 until 12 o'clock. Actually, this is a pretty good spot for some big axis. I had a track from, I'm pretty sure it was a diamond axis buck over here as well, but we'll swing by sometime and check that out. Over here is going to be some more mule deer, and down here is water buffalo at 17 until 21:30. Over here is more water buffalo, 10 until 13:30. So basically, if you want to go after any species you want, find a need zone, go to that spot during that time, go back to your lodge, set whatever time you want, or go to a tent. You can set whatever time you want to be able to get to that need zone safely and before the time actually starts. Alright, so we just spotted a mule deer now. This is a 3 easy mule deer buck, and you can see this is also a drinking zone. So if we come back here during the same time, 9 o'clock until 12:30 in the morning, there could either be mule deer here or black buck. There's also a mule deer there, it's a doe. But we're going to take a shot on this buck here. He is about 185 out. A good way you can find out to see how far this buck actually is, as it's showing like, okay, right there it shows 189. First off, you want to try and use the very bottom of the top kind of crosshair. Put that right on the animal's heart. Pretend that that's the center point. And you can see it says 185 right there, because if you use the center, sometimes it will show the wrong distance. If we go to the map, and you can see the little green thing here, this is where we spotted the mule deer. That's the animal we spotted. So if we put the cursor right in the middle of that, it will show the exact distance on the bottom right corner, which is right here. Right now it's showing 500, but it literally will show the distance wherever the cursor is right there. So right there it shows 189 yards. That means this buck should be exactly 189 yards. And with our zeroing perk, you can see on the bottom right corner we're at 164 right now. So if we want to zero in for further, we just hit the skill button, which is, for me, it's T, and that will bring us to 320, but that's a little bit too far. So if we hit it one more time, it will bring us to 160, and if we hit it one more time, it will bring us to 80. So 80 is too close, 300 is too far, 160 is just about right. So we want to stay zeroed in for 160, and we're going to want to hold a little bit high because 180 is a little bit further than 160. Also, there's a doe blocking sort of the vitals, but we could definitely squeeze one in there. We went for kind of a center single lung shot, which it looks like that was a good hit, and he's going down right there. Alright, so this buck wasn't that big. If it would have been a 4, I would say it could have been a gold or a diamond potential, and in order for that to happen, we need to make sure we have our consecutive harvests at 100%. And in order to get 100%, the only way to find out, which is a little bit unfortunate at this moment, is by actually picking up an animal that you took a shot at. So in this case, we only shot at that one buck, so we don't know what our consecutive harvest is going to be at. But the way the consecutive harvest works is if you hit an animal in the vitals and it... Just wanted to take a shot at that buck there really quick to see. Come on, go down. Go down. I think he went down. Alright, so this will actually be our consecutive harvest check. It was only a 2 minor, I believe, but since we pick it up, it should give us a consecutive harvest check. Alright, so you can see here with this very bright and wide patch of red blood, that means that's a vital hit. So if we click on it, and the way you can tell is it needs to be, well, on screen I would say like at least 6 inches long by 3 inches. So that's a vital hit. That means he will go down pretty quickly. So we'll just track and follow the same color track of the direction that he ran off to. And you can see he was going this direction here. He ran a little bit further than I thought, but I think we still got a single lung. And there he is down right there. You can notice that the buck is actually the same color of the track. So that's how you know it's the same one that you're tracking. This blue here matches this buck here. So once you get next to the deer, you press your pickup button, which is F in our case. And you can see we hit a single lung. We drilled the shoulder bone. But I tell you what, if we had some polymer tips for this Mosin Nagant 7.6 by 54, we possibly could have gotten a double lung at that distance. 147 yards out, and we got a single lung and shoulder blade, it looks like. And if you look right here, you can see our consecutive harvest is at 100%. That means if we don't miss anything or hit anything after this, actually I think if we don't hit anything, if we miss something, it doesn't count. But if we hit something and we don't track it down, our consecutive harvest will go to 0%. Alright, and here's our other buck. Let's pick him up and see how we did. This is a perfect example of how you could get a diamond or a big gold. 100% on the quick kill, 100% on the integrity, and 100% on our consecutive harvest. The reason we know we're at 100% now is because we picked up that buck just before, and that ensured us we're at 100%. Now, he wasn't quite big enough to be a gold because he needs to break like 330s for a trophy rating. So in order to be a gold or a diamond, the trophy rating has to be really high, and the score needs to be above 950 for that to be a diamond. To be a gold, it needs to be above 800. So we needed to get another 69 more points, and we would have had a gold here. But we made a right lung, liver, and stomach shot at 189 yards out on him. Alright, so we just got eyes on some more mule deer, and you can see this is definitely another need zone. We have a drinking zone right here, and there is quite a few mule deer in this location. Now, there's a good chance if we come back here, there might be an even bigger buck eventually, but it's kind of tricky. You never know what you're going to see. The good part is, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Since this buck's out here at 140, we might as well just try and take a shot on him in hopes of maybe a bigger one coming back. Shot looked pretty good, and he should be going down. Yep, he's down. That actually might have only been a single lung. I was trying for a heart shot, but we got him either way. That should take him down. There goes some more mule deer there. I just want to see if there isn't a big buck out in the front. You always want to try and spot the very, very front just to see if there isn't an even cooler or a bigger buck out there. And here's our buck. Looks like we did make a double lung shot. We actually almost made a heart shot. We were just a little bit too high, but that's decent penetration. It looks like we got shoulder blade, double lung, and it came out the other side. So I can't complain about that. You can see we still got a 99% on the quick kill. He scored 264, total score of 738. So not quite big enough to be a goal, but still made a really nice shot on him. Oh, and another tip, if you see any pumas, take them out as soon as possible because they will pretty much take down every mule deer in sight or any animal. So we have a nice mythical here at 180. We're going to use the Mosin Nagant and go for a spinal cord heart shot on this puma. Oh, well, he is down. The cool thing is, with this Mosin Nagant, you can actually take 2 shots and still get 100% on the integrity. So there's a good chance we got a big mythical gold puma. Alright, here's our puma, and we did get 100% on that. That's a pretty big puma. 38.4, total score of 920, and it was a dark red. Looks like there's some mule deer in the back here now, so they should be free to roam this area. That is one mean looking puma. Also, when you're shooting at an animal, normally, well, when Call of the Wild first came out, you could hit this spine here and get 100% on the quick kill. But ever since this new update, now the spine will actually not really do much for you. As you can see, it only gave us a 14% for damage on that shot there. We were trying to hit spinal cord, which is what we did hit the second time. But yeah, this shot doesn't work. This shot does work. The difference is probably like an 1/8 of an inch. Oh, another thing, if you look at the map and you can see these purple circles here, that is how you know an animal just went down in that particular area. So the first time we took a shot at that puma, we probably went to see a purple circle here. But the second time, since he went down, it turned purple. And over here, this is where we got those bucks from before. This whole area is purple. What you want to do is you don't want to shoot more than 2 or 3 animals near a need zone, because it will actually wipe out that whole entire area. So if you take a shot at an animal and you're not sure if you hit it or not, look for a purple circle. If you don't see a purple circle, it doesn't mean you didn't hit it, but what it does mean is it's not going to go down. And what you want to do the next time you come back to the spot is make sure that there's no purple circles in the area, because there's probably not going to be too much action here. So you want to make sure you keep spreading out and going on to different need zones and keep on hunting. Alright, so now we're going to go to a different location, and we actually have a tent right here. We have some need zones here. Here we have a red deer need zone 13 till 17, an Asus need zone 12 till 18, mule deer 12 till 730, and a black buck 1230 till 1400. So if we look in this direction, we should see some Asus deer. Oh, what do we have here? That looks like a pretty nice one there. Ooh, that's a 4. Okay, so for Asus, a 4 easy is as big as they can get until they become a 5 medium, which then would be a diamond. So this buck is about 160 out. Let's go for a shot. Shot looked really good, percentage dropping, and he's down. That should have been a double lung shot right there. Now, since we didn't take any other shots at any other animals, we still should have 100% on our consecutive harvest. Now, if you would have been any bigger, I wouldn't recommend what I'm about to do, but since this stag is here and it's a really decent one, and since I choked on that majorly, there. So that will help give us a consecutive harvest check, because we didn't make a very good shot on that stag. Should have gotten lung. I mean, at least a single lung, I'm thinking. We pulled to the right of the heart, but... Alright, so here's the female black buck that we got. Let's pick her up and check. We are at 100%. Double lung shot dropped her at 148. And there he is down, so that means we should be able to pick him up and go pick up that big Asus buck, and he should be a gold. So I'm kind of curious where we hit this guy. Oh, we got the skull. I had a feeling we might be a little bit too high on that. Alright, here he is down here. Let's pick him up and see how we did. 320 gold, 910 score. That's pretty big. That's got to be like my second biggest Asus buck. And we made a double lung shot at 150. You can see it took him down very nicely. 100% on everything. And a total score of 910. He was a dark fur type variation. Now, if you look at the weight, he weighed 141 pounds. I believe if they weigh 145 pounds or bigger, they could be a diamond. So this guy was one step away from being a diamond. Alright, so here's another thing. When you're sneaking up on an animal, if you look at the bottom right corner, there's a little line. Now, if we crouch up, it will turn into a circle, which we don't want to do that right now because it could definitely spook away this buck that we're stalking up on right now. We have a pretty heavy track from a mule deer right over here, and we also have a need zone right over here. So there's a really good chance we're going to see a pretty big buck very shortly. We just got to play our cards right, stay low, stay quiet, and move in slow. Oh, what do we have here? That is a really nice buck. 53 yards out, perfectly broadside. Ooh, we could go for a shot if we needed to. We're going to try and get to 40. This could work out very, very nicely. We have a perfect wind, as you can see. The wind is blowing right in our face. The wide part of the V on the wind gauge there, that is the direction that the wind is actually going. Oh, now we don't want to go too fast, or we could kick up this buck. That is the shift button. Well, actually, it's my control button. So if I hit control twice, it will make me crawl really fast. If I hit it once, it will make me crawl pretty slow, which is what we're doing right now. We want to get a spotting. He is 44 out. We'll check the map one more time just to check. It's saying he's about 42 out. Also, you need to have the 420 grains equipped in your bow. And for this, We're going to be zeroed in for 43. That means the middle pin, the yellow pin, is going to be exactly 40 yards out. So let's stand up, draw back, zero in for 40, and go for a shot. We absolutely just smoked him. He's going down right there. Man, that was awesome. I've been wanting to get a huge mule deer, a big 4 easy like that, since Parque Fernando first came out. And I think this is actually the first time we just made it happen. So he was bedded right there. We took him down as he was bedded. It was a little bit risky, to be honest, but he's a big old buck. And with a little bit of experience, we managed to make it happen. Yeah, I thought we were a little bit high, but it doesn't look like it. This rack here is a pretty nice rack. Now, if you want to take a picture of him, you press the P button, and this will pop up. Now notice, it says F pickup, so in order to remove this, press P, back up a little bit until it disappears, and once your icon disappears, then you press P again. It should bring up your camera, and when you go forward, notice the icon is completely gone, and you can get a really nice view of your trophy. In fact, that is an absolute amazing picture of this giant, should be 400 plus gold muley. What a buck, what a shot, and what a hunt. Now, another thing, when you want to pick up your buck or your trophy, you want to make sure that it says confirm trophy, and then you turn, don't move at all, just turn away from the animal and look up, and then click him. 412, total score of 875, and he was a huge gold gray mule deer. We made an absolute wicked double lung shot at 43 yards out. Very beautiful shot on him. Let's see, he was bedded just like this, and we were at kind of an upward shot, so we were a little bit high, but we came out perfectly right in the center of the lung. 43 yards out, a big gold mule deer. And with that, I think that's going to be one heck of a good way to end this video. So I hope this helps you guys out. If it does, make sure you subscribe. If you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. And we dropped him. What a giant. Holy. Oh my god, that was incredible. Why couldn't it be a diamond though? Would have been absolutely insane if it was a diamond. He stepped out absolutely perfect. I thought he was a diamond. I'm shaking so bad right now.